All right, squad, just a quick one today. I'm just going to show you how you can create a very simple pull request into a open source library on GitHub and how quick and easy it is so that you can contribute to all your favorite packages. So let's jump in. All right, sweet as. So to just outline the problem. So inside of RealHub, we're using the pay gem, which is amazing, by the way. You should definitely use it if you're having trouble implementing payments. But what we can do is we can jump into the payment process subscription. Now, what that does is it finds the record in the database, which is cool. And you can see the subscription items here. But what I need to do is I actually want to get the product features, like the marketing features, but that's stored on the product, which isn't in this data. So we need that. Now, what you can do, according to the docs, is go in. So if we're looking at the subscription code or docs here, I'll make this a bit bigger. We can scroll down and then there's this processor underscore plan, I believe, or so there it is, subscription, one up. So this call here, right? So we should be able to go subscription.processor subscription. So if I go in here and then I add that in, you'll see that we get this undefined method, right? So clearly all that's wrong here looks like documentation, I think. So what I did, so how do we debug this? So I first came in here and I did a search. I was like, well, maybe it's wrong. So I searched for that word. So if we go processor underscore subscription, do a quick search in the code base. So always start here, like try and find the code. It's really good to understand the gems you're using or the things. So you can see here it's mentioned in the docs. But you can have a look here. There's really no way to actually see that call made anywhere else. And I can't see, so there's a test for Braintree, Lemon Squeezy, Paddle, and Paddle Classic. There's nothing about a Stripe, which is what we're using. So what I did then is I jump in here and I go to the actual code base. So if we just get out of the search, jump into the models, look at pay, and then I jumped into the subscription. So I was kind of looking for, is there anything here that says processor, right? Like, can we find anything inside the code base? We've got processor ID, processor plan, processor name. So it doesn't look like it exists, and I ran through this. Then what I did is I look in here and I go, okay, well, we're looking with Stripe. Let's look at the subscription here. One thing I did remember though, was there was this call called API record, and we use that to get other things on the customer, right? And I was like, okay, well, maybe that's the call. So what I did here is I looked through this doc here and looked for a method function or method called API record. And this actually, you can see it calls the Stripe gem directly. And I was like, okay, that could be the one. So instead of processor subscription, maybe it's API record, which actually makes way more sense, to be honest. Hit that, boom, there we go. So now we get all the data that we need. So here we can actually go through and have a look at everything that's there. And it should have, hopefully, the it's a lot of stuff here. You can see it's got the name. Does it have marketing in it? Looks, it's a lot of code, right? But so obviously all that we've got here is a mistake where the documentation's wrong. There's nothing wrong with the code base. It can actually do what we want. So we don't have to submit a new feature. We just have to submit documentation change, okay? So all that being said, let's do that. All right, first things first. So how do we get started? So we jump into the repo, and then what we can do here, because I've got VS Code locally, I'm gonna just say, GitHub Desktop. I can just hit open in GitHub Desktop. I can't talk today. Or you could just clone it normally. So I'm just gonna hit that and let it open it up. All right. And we should, when this decides to load, actually launch. Hopefully, one day. Maybe it's downloading the code. Okay, I have to click that. That's strange. Okay, so it's going to just clone this repo into code/pay, and that's fine. So I'm going to hit clone, and then it's going to go fetch that for us, right? So now we have our own branch or our own code here. So what I'm going to do firstly is I'm going to create a new branch. I'm going to say update docs as subscription docs, right? And all we really want to do is go into the docs, and we want to change this file, subscriptions, and then look for processor subscription, and we want to change that to API record because it's retrieving the raw subscription object from the processor, and that's exactly what we want to do. So let's open this code in Visual Studio. All right, so now we've got the code base. This is just a great way to explore code or any sort of repo that you're using in your dependency. So we're going to go into docs, we're going to go into subscriptions, and because let's close this now, we can actually two up this because it's in Markdown. But then what we want to look for is that processor subscription. And we're going to change this into just literally into API record, right? And I'm just going to double check again that this actually is the right one. Just run that here. Okay, and that's returning the Stripe subscription. And if you had a look at that, it was the same method there, right? So we're like, okay, it's doing the right thing. So clearly just a straight up documentation issue. So I wonder if we should I wonder if it's worth adding to the docs. Like we could possibly just saying this will make an API call to Stripe and get the result, but let's just see what it says. So it says retrieving the raw subscription. I guess we can just write that in here and we can say this will make an API call to Stripe, to the processor to get the latest information. I guess we could say something like that. The latest record, I guess, to get the record. I think that's important, like to know. But anyway, so this is a very simple change. I just want to show you how easy it is. So retrieving the raw, this will make an API call, and then user.paymentprocessor.subscription.api record, and we'll return that. And that's as simple as that, right? So we're just going to say here, update docs, that's fine. Commit to, do you want to create a fork? So actually that's what I should have done firstly, create a fork. So we'll just hit create a fork. Fork this repo. So we'll fork it into our own repository. I should have done that first, and this is to contribute to the parent project, right? So continue. All right, so I'm just going to update that, push that up. Okay, so now we've pushed that code up. Now inside of GitHub, we should have our page M, right? And now we can say here compare and pull request, right? So there's our change. But what we want to do is we want to see, you can see what it's done here. It's not making a pull request into my repo, it's making a pull request into the master repo here, right? And then I'm going to say here, why? Oh geez, it's a lot of stuff here. This description. This must be their code notes. So this is just fix documentation for fetching API record from processor. Just a small change to fix docs. There's no related issue. Elaborate on changes. Current documentation doesn't work. Undefined method. Testing, screenshots. I'm not going to do any of this. Code follows the project's coding standards. Tests have been added. We don't care. Documentation has been updated. Yep. Nothing else. I think that's all I'm going to do because I think that's fine. And then here's our thing. All right. So let's just hit create pull request. And that is now inside of Pay Rails. So you can see we're inside the repo now. There's a PR just right there. And then it just says just a small change to fix our current docs, and then you can see the changes there. And that's it. And now we've made a change and hopefully help the next people get the right docs if they're trying to do what we're trying to do. And we've contributed. So it's that easy. So if you are using a library and you do need changes, how about you try and fix it yourself sometimes, because it's a really cool way to learn and get to contribute to the tools that you use. So just wanted to show everyone, but we'll catch you on the next one.